Alright, I'm the first speaker of opposition side of the house. Will tell you about the house belief that moral education in modern school today is stereotyping. But first of all, I gonna rebut the first speaker of government side of the house. Why you say moral education just tell by teaching? Not all teacher teach moral education. Yes, but moral education not just teach by a word and on a lesson, but it's the teacher too by an action. For example, every time we come to school, we always the teacher always greet to us. We always do this every day, almost every day on school. Why you say no? It's also the part of moral action to teach about moral. Then when we start about when we start the lesson, we always praying. This is the number one and always happening on school. We always praying for studying. For example, praying beginning. It's always happened on school. It's also a part of moral education, but not in a teaching by word, but in action way. And then you say many students become criminal, but it's not because moral education or modern school is deteriorating, but it's because the parent on their home not teach about moral. You know, almost all of the students become a criminal. It's because the primary conflict, not because school conflict. The remember, all the teachers teach about moral, even in not a word, but on action. Where they become criminal, it's because the family or environment they influenced by their family. For example, their family not paying attention to them. Of course, they become a bad student. But the reason they become bad student is because they want attention for their parents. Just that. It's not because the school not teach about moral, but it's because their parents not teach their moral and not pay attention for them. And and many prove on it that the teacher teach their moral. For example, student get achievement because they got a teaching about moral. Even it's not on a word but the action too. Now I'm gonna move to my background. What is moral education? Moral education is education to make children become human with moral or humanity. That means that moral education is education that does not teach academic but non-academic, especially about attitude and how to conduct very good. Unfortunately, at this time in Indonesia, there are very few or almost no teacher who teach this cause moral and that cause moral destruction of student on this time. That's why reason this case come since there are many cases that happened because moral destruction. For example, brawl that between school that happening. But the truth is, the moral education in modern school today is not deteriorating. Why? I have so many proof why it's not deteriorating. There are many students got achievement because they are teach about moral. They will not get achievement if they don't have moral because the boost to get some achievement because of patience and with a moral. And who teach this moral? Of course, it's parent and teacher on school. And because it talk about school, that means teachers still teach about education, even if it's not a word but in action way. So, who say moral education in modern school today is deteriorating? In fact, it's still in a good term. Now, I have second argument that can prove it. My first argument is there still teacher give motivation. Motivation is a sort of part that can boost student to become a moral student that have moral. Even If there are no many teachers teach about moral education, there are still many teachers give motivation. Motivation is also a boost for moral, just as I say. For example, they make themselves to become an example for their student. They tell what they tell about their daily life and to follow it with a good in a good way. And with that, there also a boost for their moral to follow their teacher to do a good thing because teacher is their example. Next, teacher that's of teacher that only care about student hard work, not their academic point. They see the student hard work because it's also a boost for their moral because the student feel open since the teacher only see how their hard work even if their score is not high but they work it with honest that teacher show it their hard work. So it's also help the student to feel open and do more hard work so they can refer their point. This is also the part of moral. And then there sometimes teach moral on their lesson, or example on science. For example, on science, didn't say it. How I gonna say it? Yes, there are rules about when in the lab to always ask about teacher. Ask about teacher also it's also part of moral. And then honest and open to student. The teacher that honest and open to student and always forgiven their mistake, it can help the student to open themselves and of course not to become bad students since the teacher pay attention to them. Next, teach politeness. With just as I say, a teacher come to greet them, it's also part of politeness. And then they're praying too, it's also part of politeness. And then give student chance to become a leader. Even they even tell their experience to become inspiration for themselves. So who say more education is stereotyping? In fact, there still many teachers give motivation to can boost students to become human with moral. So that's why I disagree with this motion. And maybe that's all I can say. Thank you.